Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 62, War number 4, and we have got two pretty good wars today. We have AOH versus NG, and then we also have, on my alt account, NewN versus Faye, which is going to be an extremely close war up until the very end. So make sure you stay tuned for those fights and the result of that account. Okay, so we're starting out here on my main account on path 3. We're taking this Red Skull into Enchantress. The main reason we are bringing Zola is, well, obviously we're taking the boss with him, but also because he is one of the few champions in this game that can do both of these fights. I have seen Cantona do this fight many times with Arnim Zola, and he prefers to use the special 2 lock, or sorry, the special 1 lock, because he pushes the special 2, baits SP2, and then he can just remove it instantly with the tactic endurance. For me personally, I think that I just take a different approach to the fight where I value the degens from heavy countering specials more, because what he does is he just heavy charges into Red Skull and he does multiple heavies in a row while I do single heavies into SP1. The main reason is that you can get quintuple resisted with the standard ground mastery, which is a 1 out of, like, it's a 50% chance happening 5 times in a row. So while it is very unlikely, it can technically happen, and I'm just trying to eliminate some of the risk there. I think there's 1 time total in this fight where I go for 2 heavies in a row. It's right here actually, and we get lucky and we don't get standard grounded, but as you can see, the fight with my approach, which is a slower approach, does still only take 3 minutes, and that's a rank 4 Red Skull, so I'm pretty happy with that. If I had to take that every single war with that strategy, I would feel very confident that I would never ever die to it, so works for me, you know, but I know that the way he does it is technically faster, but in his fight, there's a chance you have to go for a special 3 to heal. With my strat, you just never have to. So while my strat's slower, it's the way that I prefer to play it. Node 12 Enchantress. Last time I took this, it went really well. Like, I played it so well. It's not going to go quite as well. It took Enchantress quite a while, up until her 3rd combo, to go for a heavy attack. And then here I have my unblockable, so I'm like, okay, let me get my intercept during the unblockable. And there she finally lets me get the naked intercept. But unfortunately, because I did get clipped, I did get pushed back, which means I'm going to have a really rough time pushing her back into her corner before she gets to a special 3. So I am going to end up eating a special 3 in this fight, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. Here, I should be going for a special 1. We hit her with a nice special intercept there. And now we're going to use our striker to push into the corner, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're going to throw this special 1. Lucky that landed, but she's at half health, and she instantly throws the special 3. However, now she's at 0 power. I'm going to be healing from willpower, and we are going to have the opportunity. She wasn't at 0 power, but, like, she still needed to get almost 2 bars to push her back, and here we had a nice stand-up intercept because I'm unblockable into another special 1, and then we are finally going to get a chance to chain some heavies here, but only 1 landed because she's at L3 again. So we're going to eat another special 3 just because, like, why not? It sounds like fun, right? So I notice here that if that heavy attack had landed, like, had she not instantly thrown the special 3, she would have died, but she's gonna die right here. So all that really cost me was like a potion and a half. So I'm not really upset about that. I actually did get interrupted while I was doing these fights because the fire alarm in my building started going off, and I knew it was going to go off sometime during the day because we were having a test today, but like a test run for the alarm in my building. But it's okay. It's okay. It worked out. Because luckily it happened while I was moving up to this fight here. So this is Maestro on the Ebb and Flow Intercept. Don't ask me what bro is doing on this node. He does nothing. This node does nothing. I think there's only going to be one time in this fight where Falter could have triggered, and I'm going to fail it with my Fate Seal, so it doesn't even matter. I think it's right here. Yeah, we failed it with the Fate Seal there. You can see that the timer reset before my hit landed. But bro's dead. I mean, it's just a Maestro. At the end of the day, he's never going to kill Hood. It's just a really good matchup on basically every node. Okay, Spider-Ham, I'm going to get clipped in this fight, but it's my only Moleman fight, so I'm not really too worried. Also, I was briefly considering using Arnim Zola for this fight and just spamming Special 1 and beating with basics, because that would allowed me... Excuse me. That would have allowed me to bring Mojo as my synergy instead of Moleman, which is a slightly better synergy, because you also get increased combat power rate for Hood. Or just for your champions in general, so I guess technically for Zola as well, although I'm not sure if that interacts with his ability or his combat power rate can be reduced. Maybe it also limits it from being increased. I don't know. No idea, but bro's dead. I'm going to kill right here with a combo, and yeah. Easy Moleman fight. Nothing too crazy. Not the best placement on that node because there's just so many counters to Spider-Ham. He doesn't counter intercepting in any way, which is generally what you want to do there. But next up here, we have 38 Shocker. Pretty easy fight. I don't really have much to say about this. This isn't a really good placement for Shocker if you're using any decent attacker. And we're actually going to get a little bit unlucky in this fight. And Shocker is going to throw 2 SP1s, so he is actually going to get enough charges to auto-block me and go unblockable. However, because I'm Hood, I have free intercepts whenever I want with my invisibility. So he's going to throw the special ones, but we're just going to be able to intercept him like almost instantly, so that's cool. Like, I think he's going to throw it right here. Yeah, and look at this. Dash back, intercept. Like, it's so free. And now he's dead as soon as we throw a heavy. I wasn't too concerned about the conservation of bullets in this fight. I do have some more Hood fights, but my next fight right here is one where I'm going to be able to farm as many bullets as I want. This is Deathless Thanos on 47. I understand why he's here a bit, I guess. But Deathless Thanos is one of the target matchups for Hood usually, and this node is like the node that gets Hooded every single war, as long as there's no one that's Hood proof here. So we are going to take this one a little bit slower and go for some heavies to get some bullets back, but it's still going to be a pretty fast fight. Nothing crazy, but it's going to be very safe. I think I'm going to actually eat hits at one point. Maybe I'm confusing that with another fight, but for some reason I think I get clipped by a special one. Maybe not. I don't remember. He does have quite a lot of Furies here, so we do want to get rid of them with the Fate Seal. Because Fate Seals technically not nullify, it doesn't trigger the power gain node here, where like if the buffs get nullified, they get power. It doesn't work like that. That's not how Fate Seal works, so you can safely get rid of the buffs. Not that the Fury buffs were going to do anything to us anyways, because I'm not going to get hit, or at least not that I remember. But yeah, you can see we're going for a lot of extra heavies here, but it is working out. It is very, very safe to do that. There I probably should have gone for another heavy, but I do right here. Almost pushes into the 25% threshold, but we are going to be able to do it right here. I know the end of this L2 is going to make him go unstoppable, but I don't really care about that. I mostly just care about putting more hexes on, which was the whole goal there. We want to end the fight. Like, I mean, I could have probably done the next fight with like 25 bullets, but I figured there's no danger of me dying to this fight, so I might as well just take it slow and end with as many as I possibly can. So we end with 41, I think it was, which is only one less than the maximum amount you can have with Hood. Yeah. We're healing up Arnim Zola here. The reason that we're healing up is because I'm going to be using a power start 1 for this Ant-Man, this fam on node 49 with Hood. I'm going to be using a power start 1, and then I also want that power start 1 to run into my boss fight, so I figured might as well save the time in between fights of healing up. So node 49 fam with Hood is a pretty easy fight. Fam, I mean, to be fair, in general, fam with Hood is a very good matchup, but here your only source of power gain is going to be your power steals. And also, technically, if you wanted to, you could parry to reduce block damage as long as you have invisibility, because my Hood is duped, which means he is stun immune during invisibility. We get some pretty bad power steal RNG here, and we're actually not going to get to our L2 before the invisibility expires, but that's fine. Here we have a perfect opportunity to detonate the hexes we have so far. And you can see the fight's going pretty well. We're going to get our invisibility back here. I also am pretty sure I don't take a single tick of brute force damage in this fight, which is pretty cool. But here we get to our L2 for the first time. I think I'm going to get back to my L2 one more time before the fight's over, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. There we go for the heavy counter heavy, which is pretty safe because Fam's heavy pushes him really, really far. But yeah, we just did a fantastic job in this fight of taking care of the brute force, and we don't take a single tick of brute force in this fight, and we actually are going to end that fight at 98%. Well, it says 97 there, but that screen always rounds down. 98% there. And Jean Grey boss with Arnim Zola. This one's not going to be quite as good as the last war I took it, which was my best one so far, but I would say this one's definitely my second best so far, because it is going to take us about a minute and a half to properly get the setup, because I got clipped, and then I got hit again, which means I had to go for special 3. So the fight was delayed a little bit, but it's going to be very, very safe, like nowhere near a timeout, nowhere near dying. I decided to throw in the 12% tech, because, like, why not? I don't know. Specials aren't really going to be doing much damage here, but I figured, you know what, let's throw it on. We do have Makers here. We also do have a Wags, which would have been great had I actually played well this time. Here I'm going to miss a parry, I think. Oh, no. It's coming up soon. No, I'm going to miss a parry. No, here we're actually going to get some heavies right there. Okay. I was going to say, had I landed that parry right there, we would have been in the perfect place to start going for our heavies, but nope. Didn't line up. So here we got a bait in L2 now, and I'm pretty sure... No, we do that one correctly. We are going to eat a special 2 later in the fight, but I think at this point I was like not fully committed to going for a special 3. I think I'm going to actually throw my L2 right here. No, we get pushed to the special 3, but that's okay. I think it's here. No. Okay. I must get clipped by the special 2 after my special 3 then. So we're healing here. Okay, there we get clipped. I think I get hit one more time. This was really not a good fight. Like, really, really not a good fight. I was not happy with this attempt, but it's okay because I was nowhere near dying. We're still healing a lot. Is it right here? No. I definitely get clipped by an L2. So now we actually can go for some heavies. So we're getting some nice damage here. We're going to remove the shield pretty easily, and then I'm going to go for my L2. Most of the damage goes into the shield, but we do get a little bit of burst down to 64%. And I think here we're going to go for another crazy heavy cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heavies into an L2. She goes all the way from 60%. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Yeah, right at the end is when I get clipped. She goes all the way from that heavy cycle, by the way, that 8 heavy cycle, from 60% to 5%. And it would have killed her if not for the shield coming back at the very last second. So that was just an insane demon cycle. Demon heavy into L2 cycle. It's so much damage. Okay. Now onto my alt account. We have NewN going up against Faye. Faye have been playing very well, and I'm pretty sure in either War 2 or War 3 they actually took down LVT. They beat LVT, which no one was really expecting, but they've been playing very well, so we do have to take them seriously. We are starting out with Node 9 Dark Phoenix, and when I tell you this is the worst RNG I have ever seen in this fight, I don't just mean the worst RNG I've ever had. The RNG I get on Hazard Shift in this fight is so insane. It is the worst I have ever seen of anyone ever taking this fight. It's actually absurd. So we're going to start out with 2 heavies in a row, which both give me 2 DOT. So a 66% chance based on that, and it's only a 40% chance to get Hazard Shift. But we have an L2 in this fight. Right here, I get up to 6 Ruptures while I had Fate Seal on. It's actually insane how bad the RNG was in this fight. We go for a heavy. Luckily, we do bypass Immortality. I still would have survived had I not bypassed Immortality, because I would have just baited the L2 and then let the Nova Flame tick me out until her Immortality was gone, and then just nail her with an L2 in the face and she dies. But I would have probably lost another 15% health had I not bypassed Immortality. So that was not nice. Cost us quite a few potions, but it's going to be okay, because that's the only fight I'm going to lose a significant amount of health in on this account. Mr. Sinister on node 18 we're going to be taking with Bastion. Now, while Bastion is a really good counter here, you're obviously going to have the issue where your L2, you don't want to run power backs, right? Because normally I think I am running power backs. So what we're going to have to do actually is we're going to have to wait out the indestructible before we throw our L1s. Right, that's it. So here we do a 5-hit combo. Oh, looks like I'm not running power backs. But I want to get pushed to my L1, and then we want to go for a heavy here into the SP1. Unfortunately, there the first hit of my burst did get eaten up by the indestructible, but all the rest of the hits connected, so not really something I'm worried about. And then here we're just going to go for the heavy into the SP1 as well, and once again, only the first burst is going to get eaten, so we're still going to end that fight very, very quickly. Quick 45-second fight. Pretty nice. Warlock would have also been a really good counter to that fight there, but Bastion just kind of worked out better for my team, and he's also tactic. So, moving on here, we're going into Section 2. I'm going to be on Path 6, Section 2. So I'm going to be taking this Wolverine Weapon X on Fisticuffs with Bastion. Could have also done this with Hood. Despite the fact that triggering miss against Wolverine X is not good because he goes unstoppable, there is a way that you can play around it, and I have done it before in War. I'm confident doing that, so that would have also been fine. But we have Bastion, so let's use Bastion. The nice thing about Fisticuffs is that even with a Power Start 1 boost, we're actually going to be able to get to our infection by landing reparries during the part where he's immune to debuffs, because each well-timed block is going to give 2 charges, so we're just going to go for a bunch of reparries here, and I think, yeah, there. And now we can just go there. I could have, no, I didn't have tactic. I couldn't have punished it, but it's okay, because here we're going to get to 30, go for the special 1. Now we have tactic up, but I'm just going to land a intercept, striker, heavy, and then watch this dude's health just absolutely melt. Just down to 20% after 1 special 1. We are back to a special 1, and it's over. Absolutely absurd damage that Bastion is putting out. I am absolutely loving using this guy, and I'm becoming so much more comfortable with him in basically any fight than I was a season ago. So, very, very happy with that. Let's move on to the next fight. This America Chavez on Path 6. I understand why she's here, because the Shrug node would encourage the AI to go for a heavy attack while you were trying to reparry. but it's just not really something I have to worry about with Hood because obviously I have the openings with my invisibility there. She was not playing into my light intercept. But I can also ignore the prowess node here with Hood because I'm just going to be either staggering or fate sealing them the entire fight. Here she doesn't want to hit into me, so I'm actually not going to get back to my L2 in time to throw another L2. But if I remember correctly here, I think she just doesn't throw a special and lets me get back into invisibility. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. We go for another L2. Unfortunately pushes me to an L3, but now I know I can finish the fight with a heavy. Also could have gone with a striker there into a heavy to be 100% consistent, because technically the AI could have thrown special into my block, but I also had a fresh invisibility from that most recent L2 that would have saved me from her SP2 either way. Alright, next up here we have Node 38 Thanos. I think last war I did this on both accounts, so I've now done it 3 times in the last 4 wars, but I mean it's such an insanely easy fight that if it's here, I'm just going to be taking it every war. Deathless Thanos, really easy for Hood on this node. And the thing is, the way I usually play this fight is that I usually go for some extra heavies here, which takes a little bit more time, but it is a lot safer and better for preserving bullets. However, here, this is my last Hood fight, which means I can just go for the fastest cycle for killing. And the fastest way to kill Thanos on this node is actually not to go for the basics and specials to 75% and then just instantly heavy to 50%. It's technically faster to just eliminate each phase of the fight with 1 special 2 and 1 heavy. That is the fastest way to do it. So that's what we're going to be doing here for all 4 phases. And it's actually going to be like 30 seconds faster than the last time I took it. But to be fair, I was aware of this strategy before. It was just that I had more Hood fights. Okay, and here's the fight. I was, on my main account, I was talking about how I ate an L1 against Thanos, but I guess it was on this account. So, there you go. Still safe, and I think from here I'm actually going to heal up. But we just have to wait out the unstoppable, go for a knockdown here, and then I just need to get 1 more special 2, and this one will be done. So, yeah, there, we trigger the unstoppable, but we just relic into the unstoppable, and a minute 28 for that fight is pretty good. I'm pretty sure Mojo does it faster, but who cares? Alright. Next up here, we are going to be taking node 41 Onslaught. We're going to be taking that with Bastion. And Bastion's really, really good for this fight. I've also done this specific fight with Hood before. So had I not been bringing Bastion, like if I'd been bringing like Chi-Elf, for example, then I would have just taken this with Hood if they didn't assign it to a different Bastion. Because I am like 100% sure. I'm 100% confident I would solo this with Hood, but it's just not quite as safe. We go for a tech power back boost here because the last 2 fights are both Bastion fights. We're going to power start 1, and yeah, I guess I technically, oh no, I invulned. I was going to say, yeah, because the next fight you can't power start 1 because it has the heal block, or the power block. Whatever it's called, power lock, that's what I'm trying to say. Here we're going to get rooted, but not that big of a deal. I could have just dexed the first hit, parried the second. Here we have crush, so I'm just going to land a nice intercept, and the crush is actually going to give us some regeneration, which is nice. Looks like Onslaught doesn't want to be super nice throwing his special 1, but that's okay, because we're going to be patient here. As soon as I get to my L2 with the infection up, we are going to be doing so much damage with our L1 that I'm not really concerned about it. Here we get more regen, gonna top us back up at 100%, top us off, and then here I think we're just going to... Okay, so I was trying to bait the special 1, and Onslaught was just not having it, so I was like, okay, you're dead then. I'm just gonna strike her into L1. And we go for it. It is not quite going to kill. I thought it might kill, and it definitely would have killed if I was using the recoil masteries. but it's okay. Here I know that he's going to go unblockable, so we're going to bait out the L2. I do get the full dex, which is something I'm not 100% consistent at, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. And then we miss an intercept, but it's okay because we just hit him with an L1, and he does drop, even though that L1 I did not have any Furies for. So, still very safe. I still ended above 90%, so nice fight there. We have one more fight this war, which is going to be the exact same fight that I took last war. Node 43 Solvarch. I don't know why I said it so weird. Except this time we're actually going to clean it up, and I'm not going to get hit. So in the last fight, last war that I took this, I ended up eating a medium-medium combo at one point, which, I mean, I did not take damage from the hits from my invisibility, invisibility, because of my indestructible boost. However, I did take the burst damage from his hits, and this one's clean. We are not going to get hit with basics. I'm going to dex every single SP1 perfectly, and yeah, I was just super happy with how this one went. We're obviously going to be starting with 3 heavy attacks so that I shut off hazard shift for the rest of the fight, but I'm going to be going for my medium combos here to get as many charges as I can. And then we're going to be going for our 5-hit combos as well. But we want to reapply our disintegration here because that is going to siphon off some of the combat power rate. And with him giving himself energized, that's definitely the better way to go here. Now that we do have the infection on, we're going to go for the L2, which isn't going to do much damage, but the real damage comes from your special 1, so I'm not too worried about that. And here, I think we're just going to combo into the special 1. Yeah, no need to go for a heavy because I already had the disintegration on. And at this point, we're going to bait this L1. I think we're going to combo. No, we're going to heavy, and then we're going to combo into Striker, or just into L1. Just into L1, and he's dead. So, there we go. Pretty happy with that fight. Ended at 99%. That is going to be it for the war. Now for the results. Unfortunately, AOH did lose to NG. It was a good war, like somewhat close, but we did lose. And New Nation won 10-2 versus Faye. I just want to give some context as to this score. This was not a 10-2 war. So this war was very, very close the whole war right up to the end, as I was saying. We cleared our 150th fight with 2 deaths, and at that point, they were 115-2. So clearly, they knew that they had lost on time, so they gave up, and looks like they didn't boost as hard or care as much for the last 35 fights. But this was not a 10-2 war, and had we died a third time, there was a very real risk that we could have lost this war had they finished the rest of their fights clean. So, huge shout out to Faye. Very, very impressive score that they put up. Excluding the end of the war, we know that they were capable of doing like 2 or 3 deaths had they continued pushing. But as soon as we cleared our 150th fight, the gap in fight duration was so huge that there was no possible way they could have made it up at that point. So they knew the war was lost. But AOH is now 2-2 on the season, and NewN is now 3-1. I have 2 deaths total on the season, 1 on each account. My PSR is 57 out of 59 fights soloed, or 97%, with 30 out of 31 on my main and 27 out of 28 on my alt. I have an active deathless streak of 16 fights because, of course, I died twice last war, once on each account. And then I have a streak of 10 going on my main and 8 going on my alt. So that is going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.